Hey guys, welcome to another video from that ABA guy. Today we're going to be going over the 7 dimensions of ABA. So the first dimension we're going to talk about is the applied dimension, and the applied dimension of ABA states that the field of ABA should prioritize socially significant behaviors for the purpose of facilitating meaningful change in a client's livelihood or a learner's outcomes. So an example of a situation you could find in the real world that would be demonstrating the applied dimension of ABA would be when a BCBA chooses to target a client's SIB instead of focusing on the client's ability to name and age appropriate movies. This represents the applied dimension because in this scenario, the BCBA is choosing to target client self injury because when comparing that to whether the learner can name age appropriate movies through Tactin, the BCBA thinks that targeting SIB is more socially significant because targeting this behavior would prevent future injury or future safety concerns that could be posed to the child if they continue to engage in self injury behavior. The next dimension of ABA we're going to talk about is behavioral. The behavioral dimension emphasizes that ABAs should focus on measurable aspects of behavior for the purpose of analyzing behavior for change. So an example of this can be seen when a BCBA refers to duration per occurrence data for client aggression rather than on parent reporting to decide if aggression should be targeted for intervention. So this would be an example of behavioral in that the BCBA in this case, in order to make database decisions, is looking at behavioral measurement that captures the behavioral interests, such as duration per occurrence, which can be analyzed through visual analysis, rather than just making a decision based on the parent's anecdotal reporting. So by looking at a measurement that actually captures the behavior, this BCBA is demonstrating the behavioral dimension of ABA. The analytic dimension of ABA refers to how the field is grounded on demonstration that manipulation of environmental variables can impact the target behavior in a predictable manner. An example of this can be seen when a BCBA shows that client's disruptive behavior occurs every time the teacher says it's time to do work. This demonstrates analytic in that the BCBA could demonstrate that when the teacher does not say it's time to work, the behavior does not occur, the disruptive behavior does not occur, but every time the phrase it's time to work is introduced in the environment, this disruptive behavior occurs. So therefore, this shows that manipulating environmental situations or scenarios or variables can impact the target behavior of disruptive behavior in a predictable manner. The technological dimension of ABA refers to behavior analysis wanting to promote replication by operationally defining all protocols and interventions. An example of this can be seen when a BCBA designs a successful toilet training intervention and writes up the protocol. The protocol is then shared with 2 other BCBAs. After following the protocol exactly, BCBAs found that their clients also successfully completed toilet training. This demonstrates the dimension of technological in that the original creator of this toilet training intervention was able to disseminate their protocol in a way that could be adapted and implemented by other clinicians that did not originally create the protocol that still resulted in the same outcomes that the initial designer of the protocol found, which was getting their clients to be successfully toilet trained. So by this scenario demonstrates technological in that other clinicians were able to produce the same findings by following a set of procedures and instructions that were clearly outlined by the original author of the protocol. The conceptually systematic dimension of ABA refers to how all ABA services and procedures are based on the principles of behaviorism. An example of this can be seen when a BCBA chooses to obtain training in ACT rather than CBT to expand their type of services they can provide clients. The reason why this shows conceptually systematic is that ACT, if you look at the literature, usually tends to be more associated and grounded in behavioral principles than CBT. So therefore, the BCBA is staying within their scope of practice by getting trained in ACT-based procedures rather than CBT-based procedures, which are not as grounded in the traditional principles of behaviorism as ACT is. Therefore, the BCBA in this case is following through with the conceptually systematic dimension of ABA by only obtaining training and executing services that are grounded in behavioral principles. The effective dimension of ABA refers to how interventions utilized in intervention need to result in improved outcomes for the client. An example can be after noticing that the use of non-contingent reinforcement is not resulting in a significant decrease in a learner's aggressive behavior, the BCBA decides to implement a DRO procedure. After implementing the DRO procedure, the BCBA's data demonstrates that the procedure resulted in a 70% decrease in client aggression in 1 week. So this represents the effective dimension of ABA in that by observing that the original protocol or intervention that was in place was not producing the desired behavior change, the clinician then resorted to a more, I don't know the phrase would be, but I would say more potent intervention that did produce the desired result, which was decreasing the client aggression. Therefore, they went from one intervention to another intervention that did produce desired results that the client's program was seeking to obtain, which was the decrease in aggression. Therefore, this DRO procedure is effective in reducing client aggression and producing a socially significant outcome for this learner. The generality dimension of ABA refers to how changes made as a result of a behavioral intervention must be made to maintain and generalize to other settings and environments. So an example of this can be BCBA uses a functional communication or FCT procedure with their client that mimics the conditions in the learner's school classroom. When returning to school, the teacher reports to the BCBA that the student successfully asked for a break during work time rather than crying. This scenario represents the generality dimension of ABA in that by the teacher reporting to the BCBA that the student successfully asked for a break, like the student would do when they were practicing FCT with the BCBA in the clinic, this demonstrates that this procedure resulted in the client being able to demonstrate the alternative behavior in a new setting, which was the school setting rather than the clinic setting. So by the student demonstrating the appropriate or desired response in a new setting, because of the FCT procedure they obtained in the clinic, this represents that the intervention produced generalized results in that the learner was able to display the desired behavior across multiple settings. And yeah, those are the 7 dimensions of ABA, and here are the resources and references I used to make this presentation. If anyone has any other video ideas, feel free to comment in the section below, and feel free to subscribe for more videos that goes over different areas of ABA and the field. And I'll see y'all next time.